Hi there. You found Queen V Crafts, my channel all about my crafting life. My name is Eve, my pronouns are she, her, and today I'm doing my 2025 mid-year WIP raid. It is July 1st, so I was able to get all of June in. Caveat, this is the second time I'm recording this because once I started to edit my last video, I realized my Notion either got off somewhere, or because I filmed my WIP raid at the beginning of the year, like halfway through January, I was just accounting for everything that I had stitched, you know, in 2025. But some of those pieces you've already seen what they looked like, and they haven't been worked on since my WIP raid, so I had to redo this for my own sanity. So I typically, when I film my WIP raids, granted this is only the second year that I'm filming a mid-year WIP raid, I'll only show the things that I have worked on thus far in the year. So that includes new starts and projects from previous years. I was taking like stock of how many, and I have, let's do a double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 new starts so far this year. And I've worked on 16 previous WIPs, so we're almost like tied. I have worked on more previous WIPs though, so far this year, but 31 projects to show you today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I kind of put these in order, so I'm going to show you the new starts first. And I put these in order, like kind of from, like chronologically, if you will. Brain work. And then I'll show you the WIPs. And those are also like in chronological order when they were worked on during the year so far. So enough gab. First one was my New Year, New Start this year. This is Ocean View by Una Buena Pieza. I have really enjoyed working on this so far. It is so stinking cute. And here's what it looks like. I'm hoping my light is okay. Every time I film, I feel like my lighting is weird. But anyways, this one is being stitched on 40 count Blue Ridge from Atomic Ranch, 1/2 with the called for DMC. And like I said, started this one January 1st. Look at those little seagulls. Ah, they're so cute. So yeah, that's Una Buena Pieza, Ocean View. Next up is from the Artsy Housewives Patreon. This is Cabin in the Woods. I started this one on January 15th, and it was kind of impulsive start. And here's what that looks like. This is 40 count Sparrow from Millennial Fabrics. I'm doing a conversion I came up with Gentle Art and Classic Colorworks. Basically, I pulled the DMC and I found things that matched closest to those, minus there's a green, like 2 shades of green in this piece, and I wanted them to be a little bit more teal, so I leaned both of those colors more teal. But yeah, that is Cabin in the Woods so far. Next is Stitchy Tear. This is from Erin Elizabeth Designs. This was a restart for me on the 23rd of January because the first time I did not like the fabric I chose. So here is where I've gotten to now. This is 16 count Cocoa from Fiber on a Whim. I'm using the call for DMC, using 2 strands over 1/8 square. And the whole tray is done. Now it's just a matter of filling in all of the little elements for this piece. So yeah, that is Stitchy Tear. Next is Follow Your Heart from Silver Creek Samplers. This one I started on February 11th. Ignore my hair, I took a shower today and it is still doing whatever it does. I have tangent. I think I have like the Irish curls, so like it's kind of wavy, but most times it's just stick straight. So I'm trying to let it do what it wants to because I really would love a little bit of wave in my hair. Sorry, side tangent. Follow Your Heart looks like this. Let's see if I can maybe get the fabric to look better. I cannot. This is 32 count truffle from Picture This Plus. And if you know truffle, you know that this is a pink fabric that does not like to photograph at all. It looks brown here in the camera, which is really bizarre when I can see like the edge of this is pink, like in my peripheral, and I'm looking at it brown. It's very weird. Anyways, so this one I did a color conversion as well so that I matched the tones in the fabric a little bit better. I'm not totally sold on the color that I chose for the words here. They're ghosting a little bit. But I don't know if I want to unpick all of what I've stitched in that color. So we'll cross that bridge next time this one comes out. Again, this is Follow Your Heart. And I am loving it. All right, another restart. This one is Femurs and Fungi from Fine Frog Stitching. This was a Sal a few years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, maybe. When did I start this originally? April 2024. So is she doing like a ton of sales, like 2 a year? Power to her. Anyways, this is Femurs and Fungi, where I've gotten to now, and it's gonna be kind of hard to tell on this fabric unless the lighting adjusts. I restarted on February 17th on 20 count Plum from Fiber on a Whim, using the called for DMC 1/1. And I was really hoping to like stitch each part of these and get caught up as Court of Crows was coming out. Come back here again. This fabric is so pretty. That didn't happen. I was able to stitch all of the frames though, or at least one color in the frames. So I have a wheel that I spin during my Flosstube, regular Flosstubes, and it picks a sal for me to work on for the month. So at least I have like a jumping off point for this one and a few others that I'll show you in a second. If I wanted to stitch a part a month, I have the ability to do that. Alrighty. Next is Plants and Petrichor. This was also a sal from Fine Frog. And I kind of followed the same vibe. Why won't this go on my board? Hello? Followed the same vibe as I did with Femurs and Fungi. And I stitched all of the frames. This is 20 count malachite from Fiber on a Whim. I've decided I'm going to do, if I do any other of the Fine Frog sals, hello, color, I'm going to do it on a fun color of 20 count from Fiber on a Whim. So they're all roughly the same size, and like the dye process is the same and the color saturation is the same and whatnot. So yeah, that is Plants and Petrichor. I started that one on February 18th. I should have had a snack before starting to film because I am getting a little hungry. I apologize if you can hear my stomach. Next is the last sal that I've got going from Fine Frog. This is the Court of Crows sal. This one is still ongoing. It's almost done though. We've, I think, got one part left to release, but obviously I'm not caught up. Here's where I am. This one is on 20 count raspberry from Fiber on a Whim with the called for DMC 1/1 that goes for all of those sals. And I started this one on February 21st. Yeah. So that is Court of Crows. Next up, ironically, why do I have all my sals in a row? That was weird. Must have been on a I don't want to plan anything out kick. I want to have someone else plan it out for me. So I started all these sals. Next up is the Empyrean sal. This one's from Forbidden Fiber Co. This sal has finished, but I am nowhere close to finished. Here's where I am. I started this one on March 6th, and I purchased the kit from Forbidden Fiber Co. So this is Forbidden Fiber Co. 40 count feather tail, and the floss is Forbidden Fiber Co. and I'm stitching 1/2. This one is really, it's fun, but it's a little tedious. Honestly, I probably, in hindsight, should have chosen the Ada option, because it is very difficult for me to count correctly on 40 count. So I'm having to like actually put in all of the stitching like kind of in order so I can count off of the things I've already put in. But yeah, that was the Empyrean cell. Next up is Flower Bees, and I'm sweeping on my thing because I gridded this one with thread, which I don't usually do, but I wanted to be able to count around without straining too much. This one is by Colorfully Sarah, and I dyed this 16 count Ada myself. If I come back here, you can kind of see a little bit of the pinky brown that I put in here as well. Call for DMC 2/1 started on March 22nd for Samantha, the Kansas City Stitcher's birthday. And this one's super fun. I love Colorfully Sarah's design style. Honestly, I just need to get this back out. It's one of those that would not take me very long to do if I just focused on it. But there are so many other beautiful things that I have started that I would like to continue working on, so a lot of these things have kind of fallen off a little bit. Like, for example, this next piece, which is Strawberry Milk from Annie Bees. I started this one at Nash Dash, the Lindy Stitches virtual event in March. So that was March 28th, and I started Strawberry Milk. Please ignore my thread. This one's being stitched on 40 count toe beans from Bee Stitch Me. I'm using a conversion I came up with of Gentle Art, Classic Colorworks, and DMC because I wanted this one on pink, but a lot of the tones of the called for colors were not going to work on this fabric. So I figured it out, honestly, with a lot of like hair pulling and crying and sending lots of pictures to Kat over at Whittier Stitches, like, help me please. But I figured it out, and I stitched the whole cow, I know, during Nash Dash, and I think I outlined the house and the grass. But since then I've been doing fill-in on the house, working on where the windows are gonna go. That one is super fun. I really, really like that one. All right. Everyone and their mother is working on this next one, which is Extraordinary Birds Stitch Along from Lola Crow. I have explained in previous videos my mindset around mystery stitch-alongs. I pretty much don't keep up ever. I have not finished a mystery stitch-along that I've joined yet, and I've been stitching back to stitching since 2022. So if that says anything about me, I don't know. But here is my Extraordinary Birds, where I am so far. I've decided to stitch on 40 count Luna Moth from Bee Stitch Me using the called for DMC 1/2. I did start this one on April 7th, which I think was right around the time that the frame was released, and I've only made it this far since. So this one's also on my Sal wheel. It will come out when it gets called again, and I will work on it some more. I think order of operations, I would like to try and finish my Mystery Stitch Alongs like kind of in order of when I started them. We'll see though. Obviously a finish when it comes is fun and worked for, but I've also said this before that stitching for me is not about getting the finishes. Like I just enjoy the process of stitching, and yeah, I'm not really a fully finisher. I really wanted to set a goal for myself this year to fully finish like 2 pieces, but I think that is gonna have to push until next year. I just need motivation to do it. You know, I don't have a lot of time in the day because I'm working, and when I'm not working, I would rather be stitching, not fully finishing. So lots of side tangents. Let's get back to these so this video is not 10,000 years long. Next up is Snack-O-Lantern from Boomerang Stitches. This one I started with a group of friends that I met at the Spring Mingle event hosted by Lindy Stitches, and I am loving this one. Honestly, I stitched this one up in like 3-4 days is how long it took me to get to this point. This fabric is 36 count frost from Be Stitch Me. I'm using the Caldwell DMC 2/2. All I have left are like 3 more lollipops and fill in on this pumpkin, and I will have a finish, and then I have to decide what to do with it. But he is so cute. I love him very, very much, and I am excited to get him done here. Definitely by like Halloween, so maybe he'll come out in September and I will finish this up so he'll be done in October. So yeah, there is Snack-O-Lantern. These last couple of new starts were June starts, and I wasn't going to include them originally because obviously I filmed my first attempt at this weeks ago, like first or second week of June, so I wouldn't have had these as new starts, but I do now. This one is called Against the World. It's a new design from Marumi Crafts, Marumi Designs, Miriam, and I thought it was beautiful and I wanted to start it in June because if you read the description, a lot of this is like dedicated to members of the LGBTQ plus community and different things that they stand for and are fighting for. And so I decided to go in this direction. This is 40 count maple sugar. Honestly, I got this from Stephanie at Cross Stitch the Globe as like an offcut. She sent it as maple sugar from Lakeside Linens, but looking at it more and like comparing like pictures online, because obviously this is the only piece of Lakeside Linens that I own, it kind of looks like vintage maple sugar. So unclear if it's regular or vintage maple sugar, but it's Lakeside Linens, and I thought that was perfect because it's a very special piece of fabric, very special piece. And I'm using Pirate and Robin floss. This is the first time I'm using their floss as well. Glam Pride is the name of the colorway. I'm using 1 strand over 2 linen threads. I started this one on June 22nd. And that's what I've gotten so far. This one's super fun. It's definitely a little bit more challenging for me than like your typical monochromatic piece because the floss is so highly variegated. I'm not fussy cutting it, but I'm definitely like trying to color place things while also like following a decent stitch path. Anyways, the next two that I have are still in Q-snaps because they are my most recent starts within the last like week, and I've been working on them, so I'm not going to take them out because both of the pieces, everything that's been stitched, you can see in the Q-snap. So first up is Strawberry Goose Witch. This one is by Fine Frog Stitching. It's the only piece that I have of hers that is not a sal, and I am loving this one. I'm using 40 count Gaia as the fabric, and we're gonna do one of these guys. 40 count Gaia from Atomic Ranch. I'm using the called for DMC colors. She's so cute. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. I started this one only on June 24th, so I've made all of this progress in what, like 5 days? That's kind of crazy. Or less than that. I started this one because Laura, Stitching by the Shore, said that she was going to stitch it with some people and I wanted to join in there, as well as it being June and Strawberry Moon Sal. So that one's hosted by Marjorie Maid. I figured this was perfect. I could knock two birds out with one stone. Haha, no pun intended. Birds. Yeah, that's Strawberry Goose Witch. I love her. She is so perfect. And the last new start that I had this first half of the year is a very sentimental piece to me. I'm stitching Rainbow Crossing from Silver Creek Samplers. I started this one on June 25th, which is the 9-year anniversary of my first dog's passing. And she meant everything to me. It honestly, before we got our dog now, I didn't feel ready for another dog, and even still there's a bit of heart feelings every time I look at my dog now, because I wish that she was my dog that had passed away. Not to get too sentimental on this very last piece, I do love this. It's so beautiful. I'm using 18 count Mystic Rain from Millennial Fabrics. It was a fabric of the month. I'm using the called for DMC 2/1, and I think this is the far side of it now. I think this cloud here is the far side. It might not be. There might be like one more cloud that's a little bit more, but it's not a huge piece, and I've made all this progress in just a few days. My goal on this one is to have it finished in a year, because that'll be the 10-year anniversary of her passing, and I will definitely be stitching a little T for Tilly into this piece somewhere. I love my puppy and I miss her, and I'm thinking about all of the fun that we had growing up together, pretty much, because I picked her out when I was 5 and she passed away my junior, senior year of high school. So we had like our whole childhoods together, and it was a lot. I'll just say that. It was definitely a lot of emotions and feelings. So yeah, those are all my new starts at the beginning of the year, and we're 30 some odd minutes in. It's gonna be shorter because I had interruptions that I'll be cutting out. Let's talk all of the projects that were not new starts, so WIPs that I brought into this year. These ones, I will be popping up the picture of where they were at my end of year WIP parade. So, first up is Half Moon. This is a free pattern you can get off of DMC's website. And here's where it was in my WIP parade and where it is now. I'm using 18 count Mystic from Picture This Plus, 1/1 with the call for DMC and a toile. I started this one May 25th, 2024. I'm gonna try to give everybody their like time in the light. But to be honest with you, I don't feel like counting out seconds or whatever of showing each project. So that was Half Moon. Next up is a Smooth Sea, or what I call a Smooth Sea, because it's by Emma Congdon from Cross Stitch for the Soul. I was here when I showed it to you in my end of year parade. Here's where I got to so far this year. This one is on 36 count Gray Magic from Be Stitch Me. I'm using the called for DMC and stitching 1/2. I started this one on June 11th, 2024. And there is that one. Alrighty. Serena Sprout is next. This one is by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I was here the last time, and where I got to, how do I hold this? Honestly, I don't remember if this fuzz in my mouth. If this one was still started up here when I showed it in my WIP parade. So this is where I got to this year. Started this one October 18th, 2024 at the Queen City Stitch Retreat. This one is on 36 count Peridot from Fiber on a Whim. Called for DMC, 2/2. This one's a lot of fun to stitch too. Actually, I think it just got called for WIP Go for July, so she will be coming back out again. It's kind of funny, I'm filming this parade now, and then like right afterwards I'm gonna film my next Flosstube video. So a lot of these things you will probably see again. Alrighty. Next up, Candy, a design from my friend Whittier Stitches, Cat, art by Erin Culpepper, and here's where it was before and where I've gotten her to. This one is on 32 count gingerbread from Picture This Plus, using all the called for materials for the blue dress and skin tone 2. She is one of my oldest WIPs. She is a 2023 WIP from December 9th to be specific. And my goal is to have like I'm not going to set a goal until the end of the year. How about that? I would like to have her done no later than the end of next year. If I just focused on one project, she would be done easily. But, you know, projects. Alrighty. Honestly, I feel like this video is just a little scattered because I've already done this once. I feel like people say this all the time when they have to re-record a video. I feel like it feels weird having to repeat myself for a lot of these things. So, anyways, Morning Glory is next. This one is by Nora Corbett. I started this one November 4th, 2024. Here's where it was. Here's where I got to. I'm stitching on 28 count Haze from Atomic Ranch, using all of the called for materials, 2/2, except her skin is 1/1. Honestly, I wouldn't do 1/1 skin again. I don't see a huge difference. Also, I'm not like a huge fancy lady stitcher. Like, it's not my thing. Like, there's some people that are like, oh my gosh, every Mira, every Bella Filipina, every Nora Corbett pattern. But I'm like, it's fine, it's cute. Not like, I don't see as much of the hype, I guess, but I wanted to stitch a bunch of different things and figure out what I did like. One of the things I do like is this next one, which is No Time Like the Present from Modern Folk Embroidery. Also, buckle up because it's like the next couple of patterns are just Modern Folk Embroidery. This one, did I say No Time Like the Present? Where it was and where it is now. I'm gonna move back here to get it all in frame. I'm stitching on 18 count Very Light Pewter, which is from Witchelt, using 2 DMCs, 3847 and 3849. And I started this one on December 31st, 2023. And I have not kept up with the style, obviously, but I have made some good progress this year. So there is no time like the present. the pile that I'm making would give some of y'all like so much anxiety. Anyways. Alright, Mother's Day is next. Also by Modern Folk Embroidery. This one I've decided to modify it some. I'm no longer stitching this as a Mother's Day piece, but as a Valentine's Day piece. So I cut off the I love you mom at the bottom, and I'm just stitching the heart and the birds, and yeah. So here's where it was, where it is now. This is on 36 count Brenda's Brew from R&R Reproductions using Classic Colorworks Wild Berries. And this one's so small, it shouldn't be taking me this long. I've noticed about myself, the projects that are a little bit more prim, if you will, I'm not as drawn to stitch on. That includes like samplers and Quakers, and I enjoy the more modern looking pieces. And I think we're going to reevaluate at the end of the year. There are some that I know I'm going to keep and finish. And my lighting got weird. Why did my lighting get weird? Oh, and now I'm out of focus. Joy. But we're going to reevaluate whether I'm going to keep all of my projects, or if some are on the chopping block at the end of the year. So yeah, I don't think I said that Mother's Day, I started February 3rd, 2024, and so we're over a year now for that small piece. I don't know if it's going to get finished. We'll see. One that I do know that I'm not like in love with stitching on, but that I do love the finished piece for, is Quaker of Hearts from Modern Folk Embroidery. I really would like this one to be done. I love the color choice that I made, so where it was, where it is now. I'm stitching on 36 count Winter Moon from Zweigart, 1/2 with Classic Colorworks Ribbon Red. I started this one on Valentine's Day 2024, and it's gotten quite a bit of work this year, I will say. I'm very happy with this progress. It's not a very big piece. This is the bottom. This is the far, what's that, right edge. So it's gonna be just a little guy, and I just need to focus on it to get it done. And I'll display this one for, yeah, this one's stitched in honor of me and my husband and the year we were married. So yeah. Quaker of Hearts. Alrighty. Next up, I have to put my board down because this one is quite large. This is Stardew Valley map from Chi Chi's a Kitty. I have been working on this one like really consistently. I buried my tablet under projects. I was going to tell you, I know that I'm over 25% now. And I don't remember how much I've added since the beginning of the year, but you'll be able to see. Put up a picture of where it was. and try to get where it is now all in the frame. This one is on 16 count easy grid with 2 strands over 1. I started this one August 26th, 2023. This is my second oldest WIP. And I've been working on this side because I figured out with the way that I make my X's, stitching in the diagonal from the top right hand corner down is actually much more comfortable in the way that I park. So here's like, you know, craziness of park threads. Same thing on this side, craziness of park threads, and we'll see how this ends up going as I make my way. It's like too big. As I make my way across this way, how it's going to interact with this side here, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't know if you can also tell in each of the other corners, I started to see which way I felt like most comfortable parking my threads. So I will have those to work in at some point as well. All right, back to my board. The MLK sampler from Stone Street Stitchworks is next. Honestly, I don't remember why this one came out this part of the year. I mean, obviously I think I brought it up for its birthday, but that would have been before I filmed my WIP parade. But anyways, where it was and where it is. This one is on 36 count vintage country mocha. I feel like my tongue is not working. Vintage country mocha. 1/2 with the called for DMC. I started this one on January 15th, 2024. And this is where I am thus far into 2025. Alright, we're gonna just try and keep rocking and rolling because this is starting to get a little bit long. Don't need it to be this long. Take Care from Stitch Rovia, Emma Congdon, Cross Stitch for the Earth. It was, you'll see, this one has like very, very little progress. Where it was, where it is. I'm stitching this one on 36 count Winter Moon from Zweigart, Call for DMC, 1/2. I started this one on Earth Day, April 22nd, 2024. I'm having a really hard time keeping track of where I am on the paper pattern. So I'm gonna have to do like I did with a smooth C. And I did rechart that one into a digital format so that I could use Pattern Keeper. So I will be doing that at some point. It is very time consuming. So I need to figure out what's more important to me, having the digital or actually stitching, and go from there. So yeah, that is Take Care. The Lunar Witch from Autumn Lane Stitchery is next. This one looks so good. Was here before and is here now. This one is being stitched on 36 count Dusty Cottage from Be Stitch Me, and I'm using the Called for DMC and Anchor Black 2/2. I started this one on March 15th, 2024. I'm keeping that date, even though I pulled everything out and then like technically restarted it from 1 strand to 2 strands. But it was on the same fabric using the same flosses, so there is the Lunar Witch. Sunflower Symphony is up next. This one is by Carolyn Manning Designs. I primarily stitched on this one during May because a bunch of the girlies host Manning May each year, and that's when this one was started for, May 8th, 2024. And where I've gotten to this year. I'm stitching on 18 count vintage Stormy Night. It's the printed Ada that is like the blue one. Using the Call for DMC 2/1, and I've made pretty good progress this year. I think this one is super pretty. I love sunflowers. They are my favorite flower. Actually, my kitchen, the theme in there is navy blue and sunflowers. So that one, I think I will eventually try to get hung maybe in a navy blue frame. There's no navy blue in the piece, but that one would be really fun to put up in my kitchen, hopefully one day. All right, last modern folk embroidery, I promise. This one is How Doth the Little Busy Bee, and this one has been called for WIP Go quite a bit this year. I think it's actually off my board now because it's already been called all the times it was on there. I was here the last time, and this is where I've gotten to this year. I started this one June 14th, 2024 on 36 count Blue Moon from Be Stitch Me using Classic Colorworks Honeycomb 1/2. And I've made the border touches. Thank goodness. Everything lined up. The vine part, I've stitched all of that. So now it's just adding in the flowers and the leaves to this border. And now that I have like half of it fully done, I might start in on the stuff in the center. I was kind of thinking I was going to do the whole border first because I know the monotony of border stitching is not my jam. So I was thinking if I could get it done first, then I wouldn't be stuck with it at the end, you know? But we'll see. I'm feeling a little bit like I need to stitch something other than border on that one now. Alrighty, coming down to the wire. Cosmic Lover from Medusa Dollmaker, charted from Gecko Rouge, is up next. This one I got as a kit and started on January 17th, 2024. Here's where I was, and here's where I am now. On this one I'm using all the kit materials. I chose 28 count Lugana. They sent a piece big enough to stitch 2/2, but I'm stitching 1/1. And it's actually a lot of fun. I'm a little worried about stitching the diagonal. I'm starting to see like some color lines. I'm honestly not worried about it because of how like mystical, starry the background looks. But there is where I got to this year so far on Cosmic Lover. Alrighty, the last piece that I have to show you for this mid-year WIP braid is Robin Spring from Robin Pickens Designs. This one is super small and shouldn't be taking me this long, also because it's on Aida and big blocks of color stitching. Here's where it was and where I am now. This one I started June 5th, 2024. So I did pull this one out for its WIP birthday, as well as like a little bit before then I was stitching the end of spring with this one. So. Oh, I didn't say this is 14 count Fiddler's Cloth from DMC, Charles Craft, whatever. Call for DMC, 2/1. And that is all of the projects that I've worked on thus far in 2025. Oh my goodness. That felt like it took eons. Sorry. But I'm really happy to have showed you all the things that I've been working on. If there are any things that you are also working on that I'm working on, let me know down below. If there's anything that you really enjoyed, that you would love to see more from me, leave that down below too. I love getting to chat with people and interact in the comments. And I just want to say thank you. It's been a crazy ride on YouTube, and I am so thankful for all of y'all that have come by and subscribed and liked and commented. You're all amazing. If this is your first time here, I hope that you enjoyed what you saw and might consider subscribing. I love getting to meet new friends and interact here on the internet. So yeah, I'm gonna head out here and clean up, reset, and then I'll be filming my next Flosstube. You will not see those like concurrently. They will be posted at slightly different times. But I will be filming my June recap, and I'm really excited to show you haul and all that other stuff. I'm rambling at this point. I'm gonna let you all go. Enjoy the rest of 2025 and enjoy all the mid-year WIP braids that are out right now. So until next time, happy stitching.
Just as surprised as you.